Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Pause the video right now to check out my social media, my radio show, and thatdrummerguy.com. And most of all, enjoy the following presentation.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, good. How are you, man? You alright?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for taking time to do this interview.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. What time is it over there for you?
Just past 2 p.m.
Nice. So you just had lunch?
I did.
Maybe.
Yes,
Amazing.
I did.
What did you have?
Oh, sorry?
What did you have?
I had some leftover pasta that I had last night.
Ah, delicious.
Oh, yes, very much so. Awesome. Well, again, thank you very much for taking the time to be able to do this. As a longtime fan of the band, it's awesome to finally be able to talk to you and be able to promote the brand new album, Big Tings, which is just coming out a couple weeks from tomorrow. It's awesome to see that after a few years, you guys have finally gotten back together and able to release a new album.
Yeah, I mean, we've never stopped releasing them. It's just we haven't been so present in America over the last few years, you know, and Canada. We've sort of stayed away and been mainly in Europe, and so this one's getting a full push in America, which has been it's been a while since that's happened, you know.
Yeah, and it's great to see that too. I mean, with the singles that have been released so far, and of course with myself being able to check out the full album, I mean, it's great to hear you guys in top form like this.
Oh, fantastic! Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, tomorrow we're dropping another single called "That's My Jam." That's being debuted on Sirius on Octane over there, and then the video will come out on Monday for that. So that's another injection. So yeah, it seems to be rolling pretty well at the moment.
So with that, what went into the writing process for this new album?
It was basically we wanted to change things up. That's all I can say. It was sort of we're on album number 7, and we were going, okay, well, you can only be new once, and you can only shock people with that new sound that you came out on your first record once. And so being able to mature and sort of concentrate on the songwriting was paramount for this album. So we took a lot of time dissecting songs and going, just because we can do all these things doesn't mean we should. You know that bit in Jurassic Park? You know, when he goes, just because we can, you know, no one stopped to think, should we? So we had that sort of attitude where we were like, okay, we know we can play, you know, metal, drum and bass, punk, ragga, hip-hop. And it was like, okay, well, if we're going to do a hip-hop track, let's do a hip-hop track and make it the best hip-hop track. And if we're going to do a rock song, let's make it the biggest and best rock song. Still have the Skindred flavor in there, but just be more concise with it all. And so with the writing, it was like more hands-on than ever before. Everyone mucked in, from the lyrics to the melodies, the drums, the bass guitar, nothing was off limits. And we would get together and write as a unit. But some things were brought in as well, like individual ideas, which we would all work on. So nothing gets finished until it gets into the room, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, and you know that's such a great, refreshing approach too, because there are so many bands now that just write everything from home and send it online through Dropbox or whatever the case is, and you know, just put the album together that way, rather than actually getting together and making sure that the songs are cohesive as a band. And it's great to see that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, I mean, that's never been our style. I mean, we tried to do that. Oh God, it was about 10 years ago when some of the guys who actually lived in America. Benji, the singer, lived in America for a while. And Mikey, the guitar player, was also in America, and me and Dan were back in England, and so we were sending each other bits and bobs. And I think there's nothing more frustrating than getting into a fight over the internet. Do you know what I mean? It's like when we write, we fight. We really, you know, take each other's heads off with it. We get angry. Everyone's fighting for the same thing, but doing that over, you know, instant messenger and email is fucking really boring. So this way for us is a lot better at getting in a room and thrashing it out.
Oh yeah, and that way you know that the songs are actually going to be able to be translated live. I mean, when everyone in the room is working on those songs together, knowing how the parts go, rather than just waiting for a part to come in through online, once you're actually a cohesive piece of everything together as a group, I mean, once you're able to get everything together, I mean, the songs have a better feel of how it's going to sound on the album, how it's going to sound live, and it just feels overall better.
Yeah, definitely, and it allows people to feel their own parts, you know. It's sort of, if someone brings a song idea in and you're not feeling it at the beginning, it's like, okay, well, I've got to see this through and see it through to the vision of whoever's bringing it in, and, you know, try and inject whatever you can to something. And by the end, you're into it just as much as the guy who brought it to the table in the first place. You know, that's usually what happens, because you get that injection and people can start collaborating on stuff. I think if you just throw it at and go, right, this is what you're going to play here, do this. And people don't feel part of it. I think, you need to feel part so you can own it.
And with that, how did you approach your own playing when it came to the album and writing the songs out?
For me, this album is probably the least drummy album that we've ever done. It's very, I'm in the pocket pretty much the whole time, which is lovely. Usually Skindred is all over the place. And so there's lots of different things. On this record, it's pretty much I stay in a pocket, and it feels quite nice because I don't usually do that with Skindred. Do you know what I mean? It's usually, there was more of a rock mentality on this one, and it was playing for the song. It was like, I know I can play. It's cool. I don't need to show off my chops every 5 minutes. And I think doing, just sitting back and letting things shine was part of the discipline for writing the songs. I mean, if you listen to the record, there are elements where every guy in the band gets to shine, but it's very subtle, There's one of the tracks, Last Chance. That's great fun to play drumming-wise, and that's got lots of different stuff going on. I was doing like a shuffle on the toms, I did like the Bernard Purdie shuffle, but on the toms, to give it like this glam rock sort of feel. And that for me was great because I know that drummers out there will listen to it and go, yeah, he's got a bit of, it's a bit tasty, you know what I mean? Yeah,
I was actually just about to point that part out as well. I mean, it's awesome to see, like a song like That's My Jam where you're able to play things back a little bit, but you also got something like Last Chance where you are able to just like show off just enough, playing for the song, but also having some fun with it as well, being a little technical, having that birdie shuffle, which is so cool to be able to pull off, and, just having fun with it. I mean, it definitely, even though it's more in the pocket, it definitely sounds like you're having fun on this album.
Oh, 100%. Do you know what? It was the best album I've ever tracked, and it was so much fun. It was sort of every time I'd be going, put me in, coach, put me in when I'm up, and we actually recorded all the drum tracks live, so they're full takes, unedited, which is great. And so we'd start off, me, Mikey, and Dan, all in a room, and I would play to the click with guitar and bass live, and the drums would go to the master, and then they would re-record their bass and guitar, bass and guitars after that. Sometimes the bass stayed because it was great, and Dan would punch in for a few little bits, but the drum takes were live from start to finish, which was great.
Yeah, that's such a great feeling. I mean, like, I've been in situations myself where I've had to try to record, like, each part separately, like the verse, the chorus, bridge, other parts like that, and they're able to edit together. But when you're able to play it from start to finish, you don't feel like you're taken out of your elements at all. I mean, you're just able to play from start to finish. I think that always makes for the most authentic tracking.
No, I do too. I mean, the most important part when you do track like that is to remember your intensity, because you need to make that last chorus as intense as the first chorus. You know what I mean? So if you start out at the beginning of a track and you're all guns blazing, playing as hard as you can, really laying into the drums, sometimes by the end, by the time you get to middle eight, your intensity slacked off just because you're tired. I mean, I play harder in the studio than I do live. Just, it's weird. I hit really hard in the studio, and I have to remember to go, okay, just let the drums breathe, let the room breathe a little bit, and getting the intensity from start to finish was, that was the challenge for me, making sure that those choruses really pop by the time you got to them at the end.
And speaking of that, it just got me thinking with all the additional percussion parts that are going in there. I mean, are you also doing that at the same time while playing drums, like the woodblock hits that are showing off on there?
Yeah, on the woodblock hits I was, and the cowbell, I had a little cowbell woodblock thing set up, which is cool, because I actually had 3 drum kits set up for this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I had, we recorded it at Peter Gabriel's studio, called Real World, which is in Bath. So it's a studio Peter Gabriel set up, and he recorded a lot of his albums there, and they have this huge live room, and they have another room called the wood room, and then next to it there was like a small little drum box, and then so what we did is we had the main drum sound, for something like That's My Jam was recorded in the big live room, start to finish. A song like, we've got a song called Alive on there, and that song was done on the drum and bass kit on a vintage Ludwig with like those K custom dries in a small tight booth. And then another drum track I did where we set up the drums in the stairwell, Led Zeppelin style, for saying it now. So I run between the 3 kits. It's great fun.
Oh, that's so amazing to be able to have like all of that at your disposal. I mean, just like being able to find the right cymbals, the right percussion, the right drums, and just being able to go like that, have the kits all set up, and knowing, just being able to pick out the parts that are going to fit best for the song.
No, totally. I mean, I think going back to how a lot of people do it. I talk to some like other guys in bands that I know or managers, and they go, "God, why'd you spend so much money when you record?" We hired we did the drums in someone's, basement, and then we just did guitars in the bedroom, and it saved us a load of money. And my attitude is, well, that's cool, but I'd rather put my money into the music and the band's money and go, I got to record at Peter Gabriel's studio, or we did the vocals at Rockfield, and that's where Queen did Bohemian Rhapsody. I'd rather walk away and be able to tell someone like yourself where we did these records and the process of it, rather than going, I did it in my bedroom, because that's just boring as fuck, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you get to have those experiences. I mean, like with Peter Gabriel's studio, the studio where Bohemian Rhapsody was recorded, you wouldn't get those experiences if you didn't go out, have that money to be able to rent out those studios and be able to write songs that you truly care about.
Of course. I mean, I'm not dogging doing it in your bedroom, because if you have to, you have to. But then there's this whole attitude where some bands I know will basically take a record company advance and put it in their own pockets and then make the record in a cheap way. Whereas what we'll do is we'll take all the money from the tour, all the money from the record company, and put it into the record. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, the record's our calling card. That's the most important thing. That and playing live. And the record allows you to play live, so it has to be the greatest possible thing. And you want to come away with the memories. You don't know how long things are going to go on for. You've got to take these opportunities as they come. And I think, I'd always want to record records in fucking great studios. If you have the opportunity, it's like, that's the magic. That's where the magic is. And I think there's something to be said of walking into a room knowing that history's been made there and you're just soaking it all up. I'm not saying that we're making history, obviously. I'm just saying that those bands that have done those incredible albums, when you walk in, you're just like, whoa. Have you seen that Sound City documentary, Dave Grohl thing?
Oh, yes.
It's like that. You know what I mean? It's like that. You walk in and you go, wow, so many cool things were done here. And you just feel great. And it makes you feel great when you're there.
Yeah, and just like I said, and just like you said, it's those experiences of being able to do that. I mean, of course you want to get the best sound possible, especially when you're putting your money into it. But when you're able to have those experiences and you think about like all the musicians that have been a part of those studios that you get to rent out and record your album on, I mean, even if you're not making history, you get to make your own experiences in the same studio where all of these other songs were made, and there's such a great feeling.
Yeah, exactly. You're totally right. That's exactly how it is, and it gives you it makes everyone feel a certain way. It's like I think that's the priceless bit of it all. I think if it was just an empty, soulless place, it wouldn't have the vibe. It's like we did a record a few years ago called Union Black. Well, it was about 10 years ago almost now, and we recorded that at Britannia Road. It's a famous studio in London where it was the same desk where they record Dark Side of the Moon. It was Pink Floyd's studio. And you walk in and you're like, wow, great music has been made on this, and we're able to come in and soak some of that vibe. But there have been studios I've been to and I'm like, I don't know anything that's been recorded in here, and it feels stale because you feel like you're like, okay, well, I don't know. It's like when you go to a venue. I don't know about you, but when I would go to Brixton Academy as a kid, I guess like Madison Square Garden or the Aragon Ballroom, these famous American venues, you go there as a kid to watch bands, and it's like, wow, I'd love to play there. And then if you're lucky, you get to play there, and suddenly you're part of that thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel that way with so many different venues that are around here, and I imagine with you guys as well. I mean, being able to go around the world as much as you guys do, being able to hit all these places you maybe normally would never be able to experience if it wasn't for Skindred, and just like getting to play these venues that have either released such amazing live albums or have some like a great notoriety to them, and being able to play your style of music. That is such a cool thing.
Oh, it's great, dude. Yeah, I mean, that's the gift. That's, being able to travel and go to these places, soak it all up. Yeah, that's the gift. It's like, every year that we're a band, we go somewhere new. Every single time, it's like, oh, wow, whether it's this year we're going to Mallorca, which is a Spanish island like Ibiza, where I would never thought we would play a gig there. And we're also going to Mexico, where we've never been. And these are two places that we've never been, and we're going there to play our music there. So it's very cool.
Yeah, and it's so great that you're able to do that with like a brand new album, being able to show off where you guys are right now in 2018. Of course, playing the classics as well. But I imagine as far as like the set list, it's going to be a great feeling to be able to switch things up, playing some new music.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, mean, we're about to do a headline tour now, so we'll probably pay for about an hour and a half. And so you look at it and you go, 7 albums, okay, well, there's going to be some tracks that we're going to leave out because we have to make room for things. And this year is the 10-year anniversary of our second record, Roots for a Riot. And so I think we're going to play quite a lot of stuff off that because that's, that was a bit of a milestone for us. So, we've got 10 years of that, so you've got to fit that in. Then you've got the stuff from Babylon, the first record. Like I said, we're 7 albums deep. It starts, the set list gets harder and harder to put together.
And how is that for you? I mean, of course, with the legacy, I mean, at nearly 20 years of the band right now, 18 years since Babylon, and of course, being able to promote this new album, which is coming out in just a little over 2 weeks. I mean, how does it feel to have like so many albums and so many years with the band?
That's great. I mean, this is what you dream about when you're younger. When you get into doing this stuff, it's that's the, like I say, that's the gift. It's who would have thought? It's something I always wanted to do, and I was just lucky enough that it worked out this way for all of us, everyone in the band. You never knew that the kind of band that we are. I don't think you could really go, yeah, they'll be around in 20 years. Some people would have gone, it's a flash in the pan. I think there are a lot of bands that were around back when we started that aren't around. I don't know why they're not, but they're just not. Maybe just because we love it so much, we never want to go away. That's probably what it is.
And that's such a great feeling as well too, because there are so many bands that feel like we have that one song and it's like it keeps raking us in money, we have to keep going out there and touring even though we hate the song now. I don't get that from you guys. I mean, it really feels like all of you guys love playing together, writing new music, going out on tour together, and that's what it should be about.
100%. I mean, it's funny, I got married last year, and no, was it last year? No, a year and a half ago, sorry, my wife will kill me. But I had a stag do. Do you know what? That's like a bachelor party, right?
Yeah.
And so we're doing the bachelor party. And the bachelor party is basically full of the band and our crew and some of my friends. And I'm talking to her, and it's like being in Skindred and being on tour is like having a bachelor party every night. That's the way to describe it, because it's a party. Everyone's drinking, everyone's doing what they want to do, having a great time, playing some music, and you've got all your friends around you. So it's the same as when like I said, my bachelor party, my stag do was essentially the same as being on tour, which was great because that's what you want to do.
Yeah, and you want to be able to keep that up, and and that's the great thing about you guys being able to change your sound and evolve it as much as you have over all this time. I mean, when you go back to the early albums and then you go into Big Tings, I mean, you really hear how much you guys have progressed as a band, and like everyone in the band just keeps getting stronger and stronger. The songwriting keeps getting stronger, all while you guys are having fun while playing. And it's great to be able to evolve your sound, evolve yourself as a musician, and still have fun at all this time.
Thanks, man. Yeah, it does. It's that's why we're still doing it, I guess, because we're given that opportunity to progress and to explore. And I think for us, if we were starting to repeat ourselves, then we wouldn't be doing album number 7. So the Big Things especially was making a conscious decision to do something different. I think with each album, after Roots for a Riot, there was Sharp Bites. Union Black was a heavy album. Then Kill the Power, we went and leaned towards a more poppy song thing. Then we went back to being really heavy with volume, and this one's like more of a left turn on a way to like the songs being the premiere, the most important thing. I mean, there's still vibe there, but it was like, it was everything down from the artwork to the concept. The whole thing was very thought about. It was like I wanted to have 10 tracks. I wanted, if you've got vinyl, 5 tracks aside. I wanted to bookend each side with a ballad. It's classic rock mentality and classic rock sort of songwriting style and presentation. That's the whole sort of vibe of it. It was trying to make something for us as classic as we possibly could, or what would be perceived as classic in a few years' time.
Yeah.
Skindred, anyway.
And that was another thing I was going to be pointing out too, is I absolutely love the flow of the album. I mean, like just like you pointed out, I mean, with 10 songs, when it's vinyl, you got 5 sides each, you got a ballad closing out each side of the album. I mean, every song feels like it's meant to be in this order, and it just flows together so organically. It just makes for a great album listening experience, which is the whole point of making an album.
Totally, dude. I'm so glad you said that, because that was the intention. It was trying to not just do a single orientated album with songs that didn't reference or sit next to each other. It was trying to give it a flow from start to finish. And the first side is fairly up tempo until you get to Tell Me, which is the ballad. and then you flip over to side 2, it kicks straight in with, I'd say a classic style Skindred number, which was Loud and Clear, I think.
Yeah.
And then you get into the drum and bass side of things, it's more rocky, and it's like, I like the journey, and that's what I want people to take away from. I want them to hear that and see that we were trying to do something on purpose and not just fluke it.
Yeah, and I just gotta say that again. I mean, it does have that great album feel to it, and with the length of it as well. I mean, you immediately want to just go back to the beginning and start listening to it again, because with like all 10 songs just like flowing by so quickly. I mean, you just want to be able to go back and really experience those again, and I really think you guys nailed it with that this time around. I mean, it's just one of those great fun albums that has the right amount of variation, being able to show off where you guys are in 2018, and it's just fun.
Oh, great. I'm so glad you said that, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Oh, not a problem. So with that, I mean, of course, you mentioned some touring is about to be starting to kick in with everything, being able to promote the new album, but what else is going to be happening this year for you guys?
So I'll give you a blow-by-blow account. So literally, we start in the UK on Wednesday. So yeah, next Wednesday, this Wednesday coming, we start. Then we go to Poland. We come back from Poland. We come to Mexico. We're playing a big festival in Mexico with Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, Killswitch Engage, bunch of cool bands. Then we come back from that and we go to I think we're doing Scandinavia, then Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Finland. We're doing a festival season. So over here they have festival season starts at the end of May. So in Europe you do all these festivals. So basically every weekend from like Thursday to Sunday it's festivals. So we'll be doing that until the end of September. And then we're finishing the UK a festival called Reading and Leeds Festival, which is a famous festival here, which would be great. Oh, we're doing Wacken in Germany. Yeah, we're doing loads of stuff. I think the rumor is we're coming to America, not like the film, but we're coming to America in late September, early October. That's the rumor.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I mean, if that comes to fruition, I mean, being able to go all over Europe, be in that legendary festival circuit, and then being able to come back here and continue touring with that. I mean, that'd be awesome if everything aligns together like that. That's so cool.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I think for us, because That's My Jam is going to go to radio in America pretty much tomorrow. So if the song does well, then America will start happening again for us, because we haven't been over there so much, because we needed the support from the radio, because we were a radio band in America. For some reason, you guys took to the band before anyone else did. America was the first place we ever did well with Skindred. Ever. So I think if That's My Jam happens and people are into it in America, then we'll come back over and start touring properly again. Not just come over for a few shows and disappear for a year, but like come over properly. But it depends. Hopefully, fingers crossed, man. Touch wood.
My fingers crossed as well, too. I mean, with That's My Jam, I mean, that is a great single representation of the band. I mean, obviously, the album hits so many different directions other than what that song is, but it's great to be able to see that song is going to be coming over here tomorrow, getting that radio play. You'll be getting radio play on my show as well, of course, and, just like being able to, get the name back out there and remind everyone of where you guys are now, 7 albums deep, and see what you guys are capable of in 2018.
Thanks, dude. Yeah, and let's, we need the support of everyone, so we'll do it together, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And in speaking of that, thank you again so very much for taking all this time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Skindred right now, and of course, talking about the brand new album, Big Tings, which is coming out in just a little over 2 weeks now, the 27th of April through Napalm Records. I've gotten the chance to be able to check this album out over the last few weeks, and I really love where you guys are at right now, putting out one of the best solid front-to-back albums that I've heard in quite a long time, and it was just awesome to be able to talk about everything from the production standpoint, how you recorded drums, the upcoming live shows that are going on, and just what's going on in your head right now. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Mate, it's a pleasure. This is what we're all here for. This is the like I said, this is the reward, man. You work really, really hard to do the record, and then to talk to someone like yourself who's interested in the record and the band. It's a privilege. So thank you.
Oh, I'm happy to be of service. I mean, I love promoting the bands that I truly care about, and it's great to see where you guys are right now in 2018 with new album, upcoming touring, such solid singles that have been released and going to be released, and it's great to see where you guys are at right now, and I'm happy to oblige by being able to help promote you guys.
Thanks, dude. Much appreciated, man.